Good afternoon, good afternoon, my babies. I just wanted to jump on here real quick because word last night that he wanted me to share because it's so powerful that it's just going to start moving things within yourself and within others. But it was so simple, and even in myself. But it was just so simple. He just said, resist the enemy and he will flee. It's in his word. It says resist the enemy and he will flee. When we resist the enemy, we are resisting him from depression. We are resisting him from confusion. We are resisting him from sin, adultery, pornography, lies, cursing, anger, the ungodly thoughts, ungodly actions. We are to resist the enemy and he will flee. So quick pointers for my standers, because I minister to a lot of standers, or I mentor a lot of standers. But if he is telling you to stand, then resisting the enemy means you are not to get angry, worried. You turn that over to him. Don't do no page stalking, no Facebook stalking. Don't be questioning friends and family what's going on. Just trust God. Because see, the enemy wants you confused, and God doesn't. If you're confused, you're angry, you're upset, that's not God. It's not. So you have to learn to recognize when you start having these feelings, that's not God. Because if you say, God, give me peace, he's going to give you peace. Even if you have to say it 50 million times before that peace comes, he's going to give you that peace. But if you're staying stuck in your turmoil, your depression, your confusion, your bitterness, that's the enemy. And he does that because, one, he's causing confusion, he's causing division. As long as he has confusion and division, you're not on your knees praying, you don't have faith, you're questioning God, and he's doing his job. You can't do that. If he's sending people to you that's speaking differently about what God told you to do, that's the enemy. You have to resist that. If somebody comes to you negatively, you resist that. If the negative feelings come up, you resist that. That desire to want to go see something, resist it. If you are standing on God's word, you are trusting and believing in God's word, and you are seeing things as God sees it. So I don't care what's going on in the natural world. If you see you and your spouse back together, if you see yourself in your home, if you see yourself with that new job or that new car or that new ministry, whatever it is, if you see yourself, that is a vision that God gave you, and you stay in that vision. You don't deter from that vision. And that's where you say, resist the enemy and he will flee. So he says today, whenever problems arise, whenever those negative thoughts arise, whenever that depression or that confusion arises, or whenever that negative person comes to you, resist the enemy and he will flee. And you say it over and over again, resist the enemy and he will flee. And you say it out loud, and you declare and decree God's promises. God's already showed you what he's going to do. So you don't need to worry about anything else in between that besides being obedient and standing on faith. Plain and simple. Be obedient and stand on faith. If you're seeing something completely different that God didn't show you, because see, if God gives you a vision, it's going to give you a feeling of peace, and it's going to give you a feeling of comfort. If you have, say, a dream or a vision, and you're worried about things, or you're confused about it, or it just doesn't sit well with you, that's not God. That's the enemy. So once again, resist the enemy and he will flee. When those bad dreams come in, resist the enemy and he will flee. So that's a simple word that God gave me last night that is super, super powerful. If you will just declare and decree it, resist the enemy and he will flee, and say it out loud every time the enemy tries to attack you, every time he tries to attack your children, your spouse, your family members, friends, even the enemies. Even the enemies. That person that you can't stand, that other woman, that other man, resist the enemy and he will flee. And you declare and decree it over their lives. Somebody says they need prayer, declare it over their lives. Resist the enemy and he will flee. But that's a simple word that God wanted me to give you guys. I love you guys forever and always. It was just quick. Excuse my attire. I was working out, but he was pressing me to say, get this done. You know how he does me, because I'll delay. So when he presses on me, I just do it. So you have to forgive my workout attire. I love you guys. Till the next time, forever and always, and proudly standing.